Alright, so we finally have the first full look at Skirk's kit, and honestly, it's both exciting and a little surprising. After all the build-up, the lore, the Childe flashbacks, and the mystery around her power, version 5.7 is where Skirk officially becomes playable. But what's even better is that we won't have to wait until release to see how she plays. If everything stays on track, her gameplay should start surfacing right after version 5.6 drops, which means about 2 weeks from now we'll be seeing her full animations, combos, and more in action. If you're planning to pull for Shalonen, you can save up to 23% on lootbar.gg. Here, I'm buying the 6,480 Genesis Crystals pack for $79, while it costs $100 in-game, saving me $21 instantly. The top-up process is super simple. I just entered my UID and selected my server. In less than 5 minutes, the gems appeared in my account. As you can see, I received double the amount for my first purchase, just like with in-game top-ups. During version 5.5 on Lootbar, you can get a one-time limited offer of 6,480 plus 1,600 Genesis Crystals for just $74, so don't miss it. New users can get an extra 8% discount from the link in the description. Before we get into everything, just a quick heads up. The info in this video comes from very reliable sources, including Team Mew, who have consistently been accurate in the past. And since we're getting really close to the version 5.7 beta, this is probably the most reliable version of Skirk's kit we've seen so far. That said, nothing is final until release. Some numbers or mechanics could still change during testing. So just keep that in mind when planning your pulls or building teams. Now let's talk about what we've learned so far. Skirk is a 5-star cryo sword user designed as a full on-field main DPS, and her entire playstyle revolves around managing a unique energy resource called Serpent's Cunning. This isn't your typical energy gauge. It's tied directly to her kit and plays a central role in both her skill and burst. When you activate her elemental skill, Skirk gains 40 Serpent's Cunning and enters a special combat stance called Sevenfold Flash. In this state, her normal attacks are enhanced and deal significantly more damage. But here's the twist. Serpent's Cunning starts to gradually decay over time, and once it hits 0, she exits the stance. So right away, you're looking at a character who rewards tight rotations and focused field time. You can't just swap her in and out casually. If she's not in combat, that cunning is ticking down. That said, it doesn't vanish the moment she's swapped out, which is nice, but the pressure to stay active is still there. Her elemental burst adds another layer of depth, titled Ultimate Malice, Obliteration. It doesn't consume energy like other characters. Instead, it requires at least 50 Serpent's Cunning, and the more cunning you have when casting it, the more damage it deals. This makes her entire gameplay loop revolve around building and managing this unique resource, gaining it, holding on to it just long enough, and then cashing it out at the right time for maximum impact. It's a refreshing change from typical burst rotations, but also one that demands careful timing and situational awareness. But what really defines Skirk's kit are her passives, and this is where team building starts to matter a lot. Her first passive introduces a mechanic called Styx Severance, and it's a huge part of what determines whether her damage really shines or just falls flat. Here's how it works. Whenever a Hydro teammate deals Hydro damage, or another Cryo character in your team, excluding Skirk herself, deals Cryo damage, Skirk gains a stack of Styx Severance. Each stack lasts 18 seconds, and she can hold up to 3 at a time, with each stack tracked separately. Now here's the kicker. While in her sevenfold flash stance, each of these stacks boosts her normal attack damage by 10%, 20%, and up to 70%, depending on how many you have. Her elemental burst damage also gets a boost. 5%, 15%, and up to 60%. And this isn't just your typical bonus. These values are additive and sit in their own multiplier bucket, separate from general damage bonus effects. So think of it kind of like Xingqiu's fourth constellation. It's a unique boost that stacks on top of your usual multipliers rather than being lumped into the same old DMG bonus category. That makes these numbers even more impactful than they might seem at first glance. But again, all of this comes with a big condition. You have to stick to Hydro and Cryo teammates. If you try to experiment with Dendro, Pyro, Electro, Geo, anything outside of Hydro and Cryo, you're essentially giving up this entire mechanic. No stacks means no boosts, and that means you're leaving a massive chunk of her damage on the table. So while it's a powerful system, it's also one that puts you in a very tight box when it comes to team building. And it doesn't stop there. Her second passive adds another gameplay layer that's both interesting and restrictive. Whenever a nearby teammate triggers Freeze, Superconduct, Cryo Swirl, or Cryo Crystallize, Skirk creates a phantom rift on the battlefield. These rifts are basically energy orbs that she can absorb during her stance with charged attacks. Each rift gives her 8 Serpent's Cunning, which helps refill the resource and extend her uptime. It's a cool mechanic that rewards reaction synergy and good positioning, but again, it reinforces that cryo-focused reaction requirement. You're not triggering these with Dendro, Overload, or Electrocharged. So even this mechanic reinforces that she's meant to live in a very narrow team structure. Now, a lot of people were wondering if she disappears from her stance when you switch her off-field. The answer is no. She doesn't immediately exit, which is great, but her cunning continues to decay even while off-field. So you can't just stash her away and pick back up where you left off. She demands your attention, and she wants to stay on the field. If you were hoping her constellations would open her up a bit, don't get too excited. At Constellation 1, she gets a small quality of life upgrade. Charged attacks gain some AoE cryo damage when absorbing those phantom rifts. It's nice, but not game-changing. Constellation 2 is a bit more interesting. It increases the energy she gains from her skill and slightly boosts her normal attack damage while in stance. But early impressions suggest it's not a dramatic shift in power, more like an incremental bump. So overall, Skirk is shaping up to be a high-risk, high-setup DPS who demands a team built specifically around her. If you already run cryo-hydro comps and enjoy mastering tight field rotations, she might fit right in. And with that rumored new endgame mode coming later this year, where enemies have tens of millions of HP and the format favors longer single-target boss fights, Skirk could finally have the kind of content that rewards her focused, single-target kit. Ironically, the same content that might nerf Nouvelette's dominance could end up benefiting Skirk instead. And while we're here, let's not forget that Dahlia was also revealed. He's a 4-star Hydro character who acts as an attack speed buffer. Right now he doesn't seem to offer much synergy with Skirk, at least not directly, but that could change if his support role is expanded or retuned before release. Still, it's a little ironic that the new Hydro character doesn't really benefit Skirk out of the gate, despite how dependent she is on Hydro synergy. Something to keep an eye on as we move through the beta. Also, one last small detail, but important if you're a weapon collector, Skirk's signature weapon has a base attack of 608 and 33.1% critical rate. So it's a great stat stick, especially for anyone who wants flat attack and extra critical damage buffs. No weird mechanics, just raw power. So now that we've finally seen her full kit, what do you think? Were you planning to pull for Skirk, or are you second-guessing it now that her team-building limitations are clear? Personally, I love her theme and personality, but I'm still on the fence about whether I can commit a whole team just to make her work. Save up to 23% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.